Well, welcome, guys. This is Terry along with Bev and Royce, and I believe it's our 50th episode tonight. And we had some fun getting on here. I'm in the process of changing cell phones, and for some reason it wasn't reading my SIM card, so the ladies were worried we weren't connecting. My phone wasn't receiving text or calls, so I'm waiting on the call. They're not on the call. Well, are we having this tonight? Well, we all connected, and we're ready to give you a great show. And ladies, you there?
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Yeah. Yeah, quite an evening. I was like, what in the heck happened to Terry? Is he okay? And trying to tune in and all that. So I'm just happy to hear your voice, Terry, and you sound perfect and all of that. So it's a welcome relief of sometimes where our mind goes. So I think that's a lesson in and of itself tonight. So not one I want to repeat, but anyway, welcome everybody. This is our 50th episode. So it's quite a milestone of where we started out. And we've had, I think, 49 so far, amazing podcasts and episodes, and each episode is different, and we bring up a different subject. So anyways, it's really grand to be doing this, and we'd love to share things that we receive and some of the knowledge that we have gained through the ages. So anyway, go ahead, Terry.
Well, yes. So last week we were talking about kind of a lot of things, things that we've been lied to and stuff, and what's important. And I think I'd like to continue on the path that we talked about being centered and don't get caught in the drama, as my good friend Rick used to say, Bev's husband. And also, just stay centered. Don't get caught up in all the distractions, as we mentioned last week. I was listening to a video today by a woman named Heather Hensworth. She is a clinical psychologist, or she was a clinical psychologist, gave up her practice and went into spirituality. She's also an astrologer. And she was talking about how the time we are in now through 2024 is what she calls, and we're in the apocalypse. Now, when most people think of the apocalypse, they think that's, the end times, things are being destroyed. But actually, that word means revelation. And this is the time of revelation, or waking up, so that we are shown what's going on and that we can ascend. And this from 2024, the full effect of it will come in until 2032, I think she said. And, that's what the three of us believe. We're in an ascension period. We're in an awakening period where I believe that critical mass is coming. I believe that 50% of the human race on the planet is awake or awakening, and the other percentages are very close to becoming awake, because there's just so much going on. And the main thing is, I was thinking to myself, and the message came, well, if I'm supposed to stay centered, and there's all this negativity going on, and there's all these people that are saying, you need to be active, you need to stop this, you need to do that. How can I keep my center and yet not get caught up in the drama or the distractions? And the answer came to me quite clearly that what I'm here to do and share is love, compassion, and forgiveness. I don't care what side you're on or who you're talking about. All they need to do is, wherever they are and whatever I'm at, is remember to stay centered, to love the person I'm encountering, to forgive the person I'm encountering if I feel that there's forgiveness that I should be giving, and have compassion for them and don't judge. Those three compelling things we've talked about in past podcasts. Make no comparisons, make no judgments, and delete your need to understand. That doesn't mean that you don't need to know what's going on or within your own heart, but it means you don't know what is driving that other person and what their mission is and what side they're playing. They might be playing a side that needs to show the dark side so that we can recognize it and know what the white side is. So that's where the no delete you need to understand comes in. So I don't know, I was going to share that video with Bev and Royce later. I just saw it today and didn't have time to send it out. But her website, I'll choose to remember her website. If not, it'll be in the video on our YouTube channel, Connect, so you can go and sign up and listen to her. I was very impressed with her and how she spoke, and she delivered it extremely well, and she was definitely centered. She wasn't caught up into the drama, but she was real, and she was using astrology to show all the things, Pluto coming into and leaving Capricorn and moving into Pisces and retrograding back and forth and explaining what that is. I understood it because in my early days when I was going for a master's degree, I was an amateur astrologer, which I still am, and I was in a traditional master's program, and we were in, my previous wife and my mother and myself and some other people, we were in a project with handicapped kids that were in learning disabilities in a public school, and I chose to use astrology as a therapeutic tool because I was in a master's for counseling and guidance and ed psych. And so we asked for volunteers in that population of students that were all, in elementary school. And we just wanted their male or female and their birth information. And then we used that information, erected their charts, and then the five of us delineated those charts in strengths, weaknesses, and best mode of therapy that we thought would benefit that particular child. Then we gave that information to the teachers and therapists. Well, the teachers were all blown, because we don't know who these children are. We just know that they're male or female and their birth information. And so when we gave the information to the teachers who had been with these children on a daily basis, they were blown away, saying, how do you even know this person? This is exactly how they are. This is what they demonstrate in our classroom. And they were just blown away. And yet now the science side, the therapist, who only saw them once a week, and one of the weaknesses of the study that I found out after the fact was that we told them where the information came from. Had we not, the therapist probably would have jumped on board. They were more kind of hoo-poo, I don't know how you came up with this, but we're not sure, and that kind of stuff. So, that's what a thesis is all about. But that's why I've been into astrology. I trust this lady, Heather. She's also, like I said, was a clinical psychologist and was helping her own patients. So very interesting stuff. I'll share it with you, ladies, and we can put the link of her website into our YouTube channel. Back to you, ladies.
Well, that was interesting, Terry. What were the three things you said? It was not to judge others?
Yeah, make no comparisons, make no judgments, and delete your need to understand.
Okay, well, when you think about those things, relating them to other people, forgiving others and having compassion for others and whatnot, that's wonderful. But you have to do the same thing for yourself.
Right. I see what you meant too.
It's a two-way
what I
street.
said besides those three, the other three is, express love to each person.
Yes.
Have compassion for them and forgiveness. And that's what and I think that's how we share ourselves and not get caught up in the drama or the distractions, because that's coming from the heart. And if you're in the heart, you're always centered.
Yes. And that's so funny that you're talking about all of this, because what I had planned to say goes really hand in hand with that. The thing about, especially these days, we're seeing that we and others that we see are being undermined by others' insecurities. But when you see that happening, that's a sure sign that you're not in your center. And if you relate that to, when we're walking upright, if you're not centered in that center of gravity, you're going to topple over. So that's another example of being centered. It relates to so many different things. And Hermes talked about in the Emerald Tablets, the connection of knowing the sun. I'm trying to remember exactly, that's all I have to say about the operation of the sun. And if we relate ourselves to our solar system, the center of our solar system is the sun. And when we act like a body of radiance, like we truly are, everything is revolving around us, and it's not having as deep an impact upon us, but we're in a balanced type ecosystem, and we're when we're not throwing off our solar emissions, mass solar ejections to the other planets, to the people around us, things go a lot smoother.
Right.
All the planets get to survive. All the people are unscathed by our what would you call that? Our when you act out, there's a word for it that's not coming.
Insecurities?
Well, insecurities, and that. Anyway, the word has escaped me, but yes, insecurities will fit.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting 'cause the sun.
Yeah, earlier today I caught myself. I turned rather quickly without centering my body structure. And I laughed at myself, realizing, why don't you balance yourself before you turn that quickly? And so, little did I know at that time that it was going to evolve into what we're talking about tonight.
Yeah.
Should I be surprised? No, because things like that do happen. And we start seeing it in so many different ways. It's really fun.
So the sun now, as you brought up the sun, in astrology, it represents the spirit and soul of the individual in the current incarnation. It's the dot with a circle around it, and the dot is the spirit, the part of us that we are all the same, and then all the area within that circle are all the experiences that spirit, soul has had, and then the outer circle could be the circumference of it itself could be the ego. And it's interesting. And so when you read in the paper, you're only reading one aspect of the entire chart that you have, which is 12 to the third degree plus more, because you have 12 houses, 12 signs, and 12 planets, counting Pluto, we still count in there. So, and then you get all of the aspects to each other, the degrees and angles that they're in relationship to each other. Quite fascinating, quite intriguing, and very, very old. And actually, astronomy came out of astrology. So, and one thing she kept talking about is that when things, it's a power struggle right now is what's happening, because Pluto's in Capricorn and moving into Pisces. I think that's what she said, or maybe in Aquarius. But Pluto is that power planet, and it wants to control things. And that's what's happening now. People are, the media, everybody is trying to control your thoughts. And, unless you're centered and can discern that this is distraction and it doesn't make sense, you're going to follow what's being told. And that's what the whole educational system has been designed to do. All of the institutions are designed to get you to fall in place, and big brother knows best. Unfortunately, little brother knows best. Which is our heart, and go into it. Faith, find answers in the heart is what we need to have, and continue to do that. So we're a very interesting period of time from now through 2024. And then I think the turning point that at 2024 is when the energies will actually shift and be set, and then really absolutely amazing things will turn from 2024 to 2032. And being a little older, I had to do that calculation. I said, okay, that's 11 years. I think I could still be here. I want to see all
Oh,
that.
yeah. Thank goodness.
2032 is really close to the date where there's going to be a lunar wobble, and the flooding and that sort of thing. It can play havoc with the tides.
Yeah, one of those dates, and I don't know if it was 2024 or 2032, but it's June 22nd, right at the summer solstice, and it's a full moon, and they're all aligning with Orion and the raised hand. They're all up aligned in that alignment of Orion. So I choose to remember whether it was 2024 or 2032, but they did say June. In fact, June 22nd, though, is that date on one of those dates when that all transpires. So interesting stuff. Very interesting.
Yes, it is.
It is. I've been getting some information this past few days, and I think a lot of this may not wait until 2024. And of course, it depends upon the individual, right? Because each of us are, if you want to use the word ascending or ascension, at our own pace. And it's what we're able to take within and leave, some of the distraction, the suppression, and all these other words that we've used that is trying to make their way into the world. And we're saying no more. And so we're putting the boundaries up and we're saying, we're not doing it. And many people are, but a lot of people are saying no more. So one of the things I did get is regarding the veil of forgetfulness. We've talked about that throughout the years, that what this veil is, and basically it's an energetic veil, correct? That, we came to this earth to experience the what I call the duality programs, or the great experiment, which is the same thing. So that veil of forgetfulness is falling, and they said you will witness the most amazing events befall, interesting word again, your very eyes. It's like a dream unfolding before your eyes, all that you are. And that's what we're talking about tonight, all that we are. And many of you will take a stand to bring down all who have been deceitful and dishonest for their own nefarious ideas. And I'd like that, the word ideas, because I was told that any ideas, they are, and ideas they are, not ways, but ideas. So it's really a whole other way of looking at it. So it said, and ideas they are, as these will vanish from this earthly realm, almost as they never existed. Existence, dear ones, will take on a new meaning for most of you on earth. Step up, and step out through the dividing veil into your new territories not seen before. Indeed, these are glorious times. And so, even what we're going through may seem very dark and foreboding and all of this, it's like, we're starting to see through all this darkness and seeing what we have within. And as you said, Terry and Royce, everything is within our heart. So that love, that compassion, that forgiveness. So, there we go. Okay. And the other things I was told, when I say told, or what was shared with me, that's maybe a better word to use, as I went into a meditative state and connecting with my higher self. So leave it at that. So that's that source, what I call source self, my higher self. To me, they're the same thing. And this is interesting, as it's this whole conversation that I was having. And it was, the first sentence was, what is significant in your life? What matters to you? And really start thinking about that. What's significant? What really matters? Everybody asks that about themselves. Okay, and what's anything come to mind? Royce or Terry?
Well, when you start thinking about what really matters, what do you want?
Yeah.
It's if you've gotten into the rut of living outside of yourself, not being centered, then you have no idea. You know what everybody else says it should be. You know what the world has painted, that pretty little picture of what your ideal should be, but it doesn't have anything to do with you, really.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hard thing to sort out anymore.
What's really significant?
Yeah.
Terry, want to add?
Well, yeah, it's interesting. Let me put it in terms of business for a moment. And I think if businesses could figure this out and offer this, I think they would thrive more so than they are in the current. So, and individually. So, if a business would decide when they're marketing whatever they do, say, I don't have a product or I don't have a service that I can offer you. What I can offer you and I help produce are solutions for whatever challenges you're having. And that's kind of what I want to be and desire to do, is offer solutions for wherever a person might be individually.
Okay. Yeah, and those solutions, and what I hear
you don't know
saying,
the solution until you hear the challenge. In other words,
right.
There's not one solution that the round or square peg can fit into the circle if you know how to do it.
Well, yes, the peg fits in the 4 points.
So everybody in business or themselves, they have something, a product or service that they're trying to manage, and that product or service might benefit themselves or a business, but once they hear what the challenge for that business owner or that individual in their life is, and you're centered and you have faith that the answer will come to you, you'll be able to provide the solution. Whether they follow that solution, that's totally up to them and free will.
Okay, if you look at that into a more personal manner versus a business, even though I guess they interrelate in ways, is that, okay, again, what's significant in your life, what matters to you, and talking about solutions, or if you want to use the word solution, is for them to look within themselves, and a lot of them say, how do I do that? But you start looking at, okay, what makes me happy, and you get beyond the material realm, and you can say, I want to be peace. Okay, what does that mean? And so you start getting a little more specific and say, yeah, I want to be consciousness, and that blissful feel of consciousness, which is yes, but we're still in these physical meat suits, physical beings, vessels, whatever word you want to use. I know that meat suit kind of gets you. Yeah. But anyway, it's like, okay, we're in these vessels, and so what's significant? Again, what matters to you, and those what matters now may not matter in the future. But it's obviously, it means to be peaceful within your own vessel. Mm-hmm. But then you figure out what that means, and you start getting a little more specific. And we're helping people get to that point to know yourself, and that's what this whole thing's about. Who are we? Why are we here? All of those things. So. Okay, I have a few more things to say, but do you have any more comments, Terry or Royce?
No, go ahead.
All right. It said the change of your planetary sphere is taking a new turn. What is meant by this They said, we have said this is a new day. And we even had one of our podcasts called New Day, a New Day, or something like that a while back. So maybe go back and listen to that. They said, and now you are starting to see and witness the transformation. The colorful auras of all humanity is starting to be seen by the physical eyes. Yes, many of you have seen or noticed this phenomena for many years, and now more in your earthly plane will begin to see these colors of all people, of all beings. It will become apparent to notice who has disease, those who are not truthful, interesting one, those who are robide. I got the word robide, R-O-B-I-D-E. To me, it's more robotic or partially AI, transhumanism, other words. But robide. You see love in most beings. It is life, and we're going to see that. And a lot of us can sense that, but we're going to even see it more optically, is what I'm getting from what I was told. They said the ground you walk on, the trees, the plants will be seen as so alive, and alive they are. They will speak to you through their colors. You'll witness changes in your animal kingdom, your insects. The gnomes and fairies, the elemental kingdom, will be more communicative. It will be as love has blossomed everywhere, and it is happening now. Now, the other thing I got was communication will make another turn. That word turn. And I'm hearing other people use that word turn, so keep your ears open here. Your electronic devices will eventually become extinct. That might be the 2032, but we'll see. Said, yes, there will be replacements. However, communication will seek a new level, and that is more telepathic communication. Therefore, there will be less need for such devices. And then I got, when you ask, it said, sooner than most people think, you are energetically on the cusp of this transformation. The more you engage that center point of your physical being, the more you will transform into the amazing beings you truly are. A phrase we use, it is at your fingertips, even though it is your center, your heart. So as we move through these times of turmoil, ask ourselves, or ask yourself, what do I want? Can you even answer that? And that's what we're talking about now. Can we really answer that? Know deep within what this means. It is you, dear ones, who have pontificated this change. So there you go. That's information I received, and it sure took a different turn than I was expecting. And but I think it's very cool because I think things are happening now as we're making this transformation. And I don't think we have to wait. Some people, it's going to take longer, other people not. And that doesn't mean anybody's better than or whatever terminology we use. It doesn't matter. So each of us are on our own path, and those paths may take a different turn again, than others. And as you said earlier, Terry, that it matters not. And we're all making our way through the old programs and letting them go. So that's what I have to say today.
Yes, yeah, very good, very good. I'm interested in the communications arena. That'll be quite interesting. I mean, if you think way back, and you think of Star Trek, and I believe her name was Uhura, and she had that thing in her ear, right? And she communicated, through that little hearing device in her ear. Well, that's what we have now. People have those things, in their ear, or that they are talking all the time. No need to have a phone up to your mouth and stuff. It's interesting times how things that we see in the past in science fiction actually come to manifest, and that's how things are anyway. You create them in your mind. You see them how they are, and that's how things manifest. That's the law of manifestation. Desire it, cultivate it, see it already, and boom, it's there.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And,
Well, good.
Yeah, think of it manifesting quicker, and just be aware of what you're manifesting. And so if you play in the drama, then that's exactly what you're going to create, more drama.
Right.
Yeah, and you know what, we can, I think it would be kind of neat if we all kind of tried to hone our individual abilities to communicate with each other telepathically. Maybe, have a real good friend and make a game out of it. See if you can pick up on each other's, if you're trying to reach out to each other. It would have helped us a lot trying to reach you today, Terry.
It did, and you know what? Yeah, I went south on that one, and I'm looking at it. I thought, what the heck? And okay, I've lesson learned here. And so it's like, okay, all you do is have to call this number, and Terry might be there. And I was thinking you were going to be with us, Terry. So, so we called in kind of late.
Going, oh, I'm the first one on the call tonight.
Yeah.
Which never happens, right, guys?
We're waiting for Terry.
Yeah. So obviously, personally, I need to tune in more to you because it's like, what the heck? So anyway, lesson learned. And
but we got ourselves out of our center.
We
and
did.
that was the thing. When if you want it to work, you need to be in your center.
Mm-hmm.
Without.
But you did get the message. You did get the message, both of you, because you quit worrying and called in the number. And as soon as you did,
yeah, we did. Yeah. So anyway, interesting how things work out.
You mentioned about Royce talked about that game. I remember going to UCLA. It was an ESP class, and our neighbor in Topanga Canyon went, and my mom and myself, and they would tell you about, I communicate with somebody now, and then when you see them, see if they receive that. We used to do that all the time, and it was amazing how much time. I remember once we communicated back to, I think, her son in Topanga, said, we'd love to have some popcorn when we got home. Sure enough, we had popcorn when we got home. And my wife and I, all the time, sometimes I'll say something to her, clear out of the blue. A thought will come to my mind, and I'll mention it to her, and she says, I was just thinking that and going to ask you. It happens more than not. That we communicate.
Because that's how we're really wired.
Yes, exactly.
It is. And it's like, what do I want? It may be popcorn after the game. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything deep. It can be very simple.
Today, I buy ice that she puts in a container for the work and her clients. And I just bought ice a couple of days. So she's got a whole half a container of ice in there. But I was at the store, and I said, I'm looking at the ice over there. I said, I need to buy some ice. And I came home, and she said, why did you buy ice? I said, well, their ice supply didn't look like it was a lot, and I didn't want them to run out and go back. She says, I was thinking of asking you to get ice today. I mean, that happened today. It's like, oh. So anyway, everybody, go try that for yourselves. Come back and report either here live or on our podcast on the YouTube, and leave a comment.
Yeah.
We enjoy reading any comments.
By the way, we're going to have a new call-in number.
Well, no. Oh, yeah. Starting September 15th. Okay.
Right.
A new calling number. Let me bring that up. I had it here. So starting September 15th, the new number to call in is 267-807-9601. Same access code, and we'll put that we'll post it in the comments so you'll have it again. But that number again is 267-807-9601. Same access number. Access number. Thanks for reminding me on that, Bev. So our next show will be on September the 21st, and 2 weeks from tonight. And we look forward to having our listeners there. And as always, we appreciate you. We love all of you. And remember to love yourselves, as Royce says. Ladies, the final word.
Well, as always, how much I love each and every one of you. And my heart goes out to all of you who have been hit with tragedy these last few days. And just know that you have somebody in your corner. We all love you very much.
Yes, and everything that's going on in the world, we're moving through it. And remember, not everything is what we're seeing in the news. And hold tight, be in your center. And, you saw what happened with us and happened to me when I got out of my center and I went up to it. And it's like, no, we don't need to go there. And, remain calm because things are coming out that will help us move ourselves more within. And as we do that, we do change the world because we are the manifestors. So thank you all for joining us this evening. We appreciate it.
Thank you for staying.
All right. Good night, everyone. We'll see you on the 21st. Take care.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night.